Okay, people, it's March 8th, 2020. The next day. So I'm in the kitchen, in my favorite spot in life. Having panic attacks, people, because I'm not typing. Yesterday, I cleaned for like 16 hours. Then I did that video. Right? Today, I'm cooking. I have these oranges that nobody's been eating. Right? They've been sat in the fridge, forgot about them. They're still firm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel them all, and then I'm going to stew them on low, medium low, with a little bit of sugar, obviously a little bit of water, right? Make a syrup, and I'm going to use up some of these miscellaneous little honey containers that, you know, are almost empty but not quite. I'll mix that up in there too, right? Tisha, like, well, what do you need that honey container for? You know, there's nothing never moves around here, huh? She's not always around, right? And I'm like, well, I eat the honey, but what this is sitting on, there's a little bit of honey in this container, and it's a big-ass container, so I think I'm just going to use that in with the syrup. And because I cooked them, right, they'll be softer, and it'll be better for amari. Otherwise, you have to peel them. You have to take off the skin that's on the actual, pretty much on the, or at least cut it up real fine, and, you know, so I think I'm going to try something different. I think I'm going to stew these, and then once they're stewed, I'm going to just put them in some jars, find some jars, and I'm going to freeze them, and then do it that way, right? So they don't go to waste, because they're perfectly good. Right? It's just nobody's eating them right now for whatever reason. I think when I bought them, they were kind of like, there was a couple of them that were like, weren't real sweet, and because they weren't real sweet, everybody lost interest in them. So maybe if I cook them, make them into like a mandarin orange that you can get in a can, which Mari likes, then it will be good. So anyway, I just wanted to say food storage works. Definitely apple juice, right? Everybody drinks this. So, I'm going to do this again this year. My son likes it when I get into food storage. He told me today, he said, Mom, you know, just so you know, you've been a good mom. He said, I got to tell you something. And I'm like, oh my God, I braced myself. I said, oh no, what's the bad news? Huh? There's no bad news. He told me that I'm a good mom. I've been a good mom, so that made me feel good. And that was before I asked him if he'd like some tuna casserole, because, you know, got up into food stores, right? So I've got tuna. These ones are from 2014. And there's some more. Yep. 2014, you can see that. So, I'm going to make extra, right? Because, you know, my son works hard, right? So I'm going to make tuna casserole today. It's been so long since I made tuna casserole. I mean, I kind of know. So I started going into my recipe books looking just for basic tuna casserole. And out of all these cooking books, you think I would find one? No. So anyway, I kind of found something here that you can either use tuna or salmon, but I mean it's pretty straightforward, right? So I'm going to do that. But then it says baked deviled tuna. So you bake them in these little things, right? So I'm going to do one. I'll probably get two of these. And I'm going to use this little recipe here that's pretty generic, and I'm going to do this specifically for amari with breadcrumbs and whatnot, because macaroni is, or noodles, you know, he can only eat so much of that, right? So, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to try that, like so I can make it like a little pate or something, right? Maybe once it's cooked, and then after, you know, right? I'm short one egg, though, so I don't know. I need 2 eggs, but I only got 1. I have egg replacement around here, though, somewhere. So anyway, and then, you know, right, I thought I'd crack this jar open today. So, food storage works, people. It really, really does. Amari really likes this. He really likes this. This is so good. So that's what I'm going to do today. So, hold on. Okay, people, so here's the thing. I'm just peeling these, right? You know, I shouldn't have to feel guilty for peeling oranges and making mandarin oranges in a nice syrup. Mainly for Amari and Alea May. Alea May likes them too, right? Now, I've never done this before, but I can't justify wasting this whole thing of oranges. Out of the whole thing, only one spoiled, right? So, I am going to, you know, you're going to see what I'm going to do, right? But as I'm doing this, like, you know, between yesterday, you know, and now, I'm like, I'm beating myself up, people. This is no way to live a life, you know? Having panic attacks because you're cooking. You're cooking for your family. You know, this is what these corporations in this public union sector has done. Like, it makes me ill. This makes me more ill just thinking about how I'm not, you know, typing, right? To sock it to them. Even though sock it to them isn't going to get me anywhere. So I'm telling myself, relax. Just calm down. It doesn't matter if you spent... It doesn't matter how much time you spend. You know, if they're going to throw it out, they're going to throw it out. It doesn't matter how it's written. The only thing that might save it would be a lawyer. But that's not going to happen. And that's, you know, I'm going to make sure I point that out. Right? That the only reason that they're winning is because they don't have a lawyer. Is because I don't have a lawyer. That's the only reason they'd win, people. Is because I don't have a lawyer. Because the lawyer knows how to play the court game. They know how to file the papers correctly, and you know they don't get bamboozled, right? You know, where I get bamboozled, I get told to be, you know, sign something, I sign it, and then what? What happens? They erase it, and they submit a different form altogether. So whatever, right? You know. So, you can see what I'm doing here. This bowl is filling up pretty fast. And I'm going to just put it in one big pot. Right? But, you know, because I feel so bad about cooking today, because it's noon now, right? Well, actually, I think it's 1 o'clock because I haven't turned the stove ahead yet. So, I'll be here pretty much all day, right? Because I'm going to do the tuna casserole, right? Because Andre likes to eat. And, you know, my son, he does really good. He looks after himself. He cooks for himself. He cooks for me sometimes, you know, he cooks for Andre. So I make things that he doesn't make, right? And so when I do make it, he really does appreciate it. Because it takes him back to his childhood when I used to make these things more like tuna casserole and stuff like that, right? And I want to make this stuff before I get too old, people. Like, you know, with my eyes and stuff, like, it's really hard. You know, my head's fuzzy, you know, all this pressure and shit. And then when you know, start like I'm starting now, you know, all you're getting is a panic attack. And it makes it even harder. And then what happens is, over a period of years, you know, you start to get sick. I'm starting to get sick. I can really feel it. Because the panic attacks are making me feel sick. Right? I can't do anything without panic attacks these days. Well, it's been like that for years, really. Right? Right now, it's like really bad, though, because of this pressure with the court. Right? So I just wanted to say that. See, this one I wouldn't use. That one can go into the compost. Alright. Because, since 2003, really, you know, started to put my family on the run. And then Started picking us off one by one. Little by little. Surely by surely. To the point where you have no quality of life. And you run around having panic attacks all the time. You know? I'm making tuna casserole just because I want to use my casserole dishes. Or my baking dishes or whatever. Before I get too old and I can't do it anymore. Because I can't see or whatever. Whatever it may be. See, some of these, they're not juicy, right? And that's why nobody wants to eat them. Because it's a hit and miss. But if you cook them up and you put them in a nice syrup, that takes care of that problem. See, this orange is perfectly fine. Oops, sorry. But it's just a little dry. It's not as juicy as you'd want it, right? But to cook it, it will be perfectly fine. So I'm trying this. And then if it works, it's cheaper for me to do it this way and make my own and freeze them. I could can them, but I'm not canning right now. I don't know how much canning I'm going to get done this year, although I am definitely doing apple juice. I am definitely doing apples. And I'm definitely doing raspberries when they start growing. Right? But if this works for me, for Amari, right, then it's cheaper for me to buy a whole basket of oranges for $7 because that's what I paid for them. And I've had them for a while now. And I, you know, cook them up myself, whether I can them or freeze them. In this case, I'm just going to freeze them. It's cheaper to do it that way than to buy those little teeny weeny mandarin cans for $1 each. I'll get 3-4 times more for my money. And it will be just as tasty, if not better. And like I said, I'm going to put some honey in this one this time. Because I have almost empty. See, it's almost empty, right? There's this one and what this is sitting on. And it takes up counter space. And I don't have a lot of counters. So when Tisha comes around, oh, you don't do nothing with this honey. And I'm like, well, no, I do eat it. I do use it. But I'm just going to use it up today with this. And, yeah, try not to get sick over it. You know, especially with the coronavirus now. You know, viruses attack immune systems that are low. And my immune system is very low. So, I actually have a headache. I've had a headache, honestly, for about 3 days now. Because of the pressure in my eyes, the pressure in my head, and just the panic attack in general of everything that's going on. Just a few more and then I'll show you. And then I'm going to turn off the camera and then I'm going to come back. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Might be a long ass video today, whatever. It's okay. The next video I do, I think after this one, I'm going to warn you now, will be that picture of Shimei on the bed. I think that's her arm. I don't think that's her leg, people. I think that's when Paige was holding her hand. I don't know how that picture was taken. It looks like somebody else took it because Paige was sitting there, so regardless, it doesn't matter. But I think when I zoom in, we're going to find out that's actually Shimei's arm. Right? Not her leg. I thought it was her leg. Again, bad eyes, right? So I think the next video that I do will probably be on that. Just to give you a heads up. And of course, I won't do that on live. I'll do that with magnifying glasses. Yeah, they get a little cumbersome, but boy, when we get spot on with something, we get spot on with something. It's important that I do that, right? So, and then I'm going to go through the fridge, and I'm going to see if I have other oranges in there. There's an old orange right here, right? I don't know. Could probably use this one too, right? Because you're cooking it, right? So as long as it tastes okay, that's good. So even though it's a little dry on the outside, this one's juicy and sweet on the inside. You can see I'm having a hard time peeling it because it's been sitting out on the counter, but it's very sweet. So this would be good for the, I might have to cut this off, but the pulp itself is very sweet and juicy, so I definitely want that in with those. So I've got a few other oranges in the fridge, so I may just throw in, I'll show you, for flavor. Yeah, see, got oranges all over for whatever reason. So, in this case, right, you can see these ones are different. Here's those nice big ones. These ones, I'm going to keep the rinds, but I don't have to do these ones today. And I like to make that stuff, right? This is very good, full of vitamin C. Great way to build up your immune system. And all it is either lemon peel or orange peel from these types of oranges, mainly. Right? And you boil them for 3 times. Boil, rinse, boil, rinse, boil, rinse. And then when you're on to the 4th boil, or whatever it is, it's always moving around. My house is haunted. Well, I think it was haunted before I moved in, because a lot of bad things have happened here. More so than anywhere in my whole life. But, what you gonna do? It's not haunted. I just get visitors every now and then. So anyway, you know, here's another one. I can put that in there. So you can see what I'm gonna do. Right? So, we'll find some, just for a little flavor, even if I have to use one of these, and then what you can do is you can take the peel and you can just put it in the fridge in a bag until you're ready to use it within, you know, a reasonable time to make those candy rinds. But look at that. So yeah, 3 days of a headache here. Like, seriously, I'm going to have to take 2 more Tylenol today. I don't like taking too many Tylenols, but maybe it has something to do with these eye drops, right? Because if you noticed before, I don't normally complain about headaches, but it's just like this. So anyway, here's another orange I found in the fridge, right? You know, you taste it. Okay, I rinsed it off already. Now it's going in the water. I'm going to leave the rind on. I left the rind on this one. Oops. Because it's too hard to peel and I don't want to lose the juice. So I'm just going to put it in there like that. And then I found an old lemon, right? And I'm going to cut that. I took off whatever, right? And then I'm just going to cut it like this. And I'm going to put that in there as well. Because the thing about amari is you want it convenient, where it works for him, right? These things, I'm watching a little boy right now, and you know, they brought this, so you know, to pay for like 6 of these I don't know how much people pay for them, but they're pretty expensive after a while. But we'll see how many of these approximately I get out of $6 worth of oranges that I have kicking around here. You guys, I'm talking. Shut up. Okay? And, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's canned. I mean, preferably I'd like to can it, but I don't have time for that, people. Mickey, get out of here. Mickey the gardener cat. Mickey, why are you rubbing up against my leg? Go away. Go away. Get out of here, Mickey. I don't know. Stop looking at me. So anyway, I'm doing it for convenience purposes, because if I was to do this and peel it, and I do it, I mean, it takes you like a half an hour just to take off, you know, what encases the actual orange itself. And then even then, you have, like, the skin on the inside of the orange, you have to cut it up real small and, you know, or grind it or whatever. I think this might work out really, really well. You can see. All right, I think this is going to work out really, really well. I'm hoping. If not, it will be compost food. But you can see. So I rinsed them off after I peeled them. I put them in there with that. Now, you don't have to boil them for a long time, I would think. Just enough to soften them up. So I'm going to heat them up. I'm not going to put no sugar in them yet. I'm going to wait. Hold on. Okay, so I went downstairs and I got some more jars. I have, right, you can see. This is the size right here. Right? It's more than that, you can see. Okay. And then my landlady, she gave me, actually I have some cranberries too. I should throw some cranberries in here. Anyway, she gave me some frozen blueberries that she has lots of. So I'm going to throw in a few cranberries in here, and then I'm just going to heat them up and then turn them down. Right? Because I'm going to mix match, I think. Because just hold on a minute.
I didn't buy them.
Okay, so basically, you see? It's almost empty. Right? That honey is expensive. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm taking the honey and I'm putting it in with the blueberries. I'm going to cook the honey with the blueberries. In order to get all the honey out of your container, right, after it, you know, you put boiling water in there and you just kind of stir it around until the honey dissolves. And then this way you don't waste any of it, right? Okay? I just wanted to show you that. So let it sit for a little while for it to dissolve. I'm going to use it all. Right? I'm using it all here.
They would report to the channel. They would thumb you down. You're not
and then this way I get rid of 2 containers off of my counter. Right?
You was taking black pea. Okay? Taking black pea does not make you a person of color. Let me repeat. Taking black pea does not make you a person.
I'm just listening to a YouTuber, Tiffany M. Draper. So put your little bit of water in there, and then just let it dissolve the honey. Right. Oranges are heating up. Just shake them around, move them around. Okay. Now the thing about blueberries is these blueberries, I think, were washed before they were frozen. Okay. They're starting to defrost now. It's better to freeze blueberries unwashed and then wash them as you take them out. But anyway, hold on. So, frozen blueberries, a little bit of water, miscellaneous honey that, you know, you just want to use up, right? After, just bring, you know, I'm going to bring it up low, right? Because we don't want to turn it into mush. We kind of want to keep the berries as best as we can, but they're kind of frozen in there. So I'm just going to heat it up slowly so the berry doesn't lose its shape. That's the idea, right? So I might even turn it on to like a 2.5, right? 2.5. Sorry, wandering eye. right? And then just let it, you know, heat up slowly. Let the honey dissolve, and then take a fork or something and just lightly loosen it. And then once it's kind of like all incorporated, then turn it off and take it off the stove, right? Because you want to kind of keep the berry whole, right? And then if you want, you can add a little bit of sugar in there, okay? Here, these guys are, you can see what's happening, right? So, just move them around so that, you know, the ones on the top get to the bottom. Oops. Right? Right? And you're going to keep the juice in this, okay? You're going to keep the juice. This one I'm just going to use sugar because I've got the honey in with the blueberries. Some I'm going to just have oranges. Some I'll mix blueberries with oranges. Right? That's the plan, Stan. That's what I'm going to do. Okay? And then I'm going to start washing jars. And then we're going to open up this. And we're going to put it into one of these jars. And we're going to see what the equivalent is, which will probably be about half. And then after this is all done, we're going to see how many of these we get for a total of maybe, I don't know, $7.50. Hold on a minute. Just hold on a minute. Okay, so these were boiling. I turned them down, right? The whole idea is to make them soft, right, for amari, mostly. This is, you know. And of course, you can put these in Jell-O after, whatever. Now, I'm just going to start putting in some sugar, right? Just to start making a syrup, okay? There's a fair amount of water there. So, I'm going to put, anyway, to start, at least 2 cups, right? And then I'm going to cook it for a little while longer yet. Not too long, though. Okay? Right, you can see what I'm doing there. Right? Just for a little while longer. Just soften up those skins, because I don't even want to take them off. As long as they're soft for amari, right, and they're not going to get stuck in his throat, then it's good. And then here you can see how it's warming up and the blueberries are coming apart now because they were frozen, right? And the, what is it called? It's my head, people. Eyes. It's, is dissolving, right? So that's basically what we want to do. So just heat it up on low, and then you can, after it's all, honey's all dissolved, then you can bring it up slightly to a, you know, quick low boil. I'm going to taste it right now, and then turn it off. It tastes like honey, but I want a bit of sugar in it. Right? So you just kind of adjust the taste the way you want it. Right. Okay, so what do you see here, people? This is blackberries. Frozen blackberries that Andre and I picked a couple of years ago. These are good. So I'm putting them in there too. Okay. Because they're going to separate. Oh, those are so good, people. Actually, I think I'm going to throw a few more in there. Hold on. Oh, those are so good. See? Another bowl. Alright, put all that honey in there. I put a little bit of sugar. Just taste it. I'll cook it for a bit. You can definitely taste the honey. I prefer honey on toast, but this is fine. This is good. I might add just a tad bit more sugar just to offset the honey. And this, I took out these because they were starting to give the bite. right? So I'll end up squeezing out the juice and then put the juice in there after. And I've already put about 4 cups of sugar in here already. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this off right for now. And then I'm going to take these oranges out, let them cool. And then I'm going to separate them and see what I get. And then I'm going to adjust the flavor on the syrup. Yeah, you can taste it. You can taste the bite from the rind. So maybe next time I won't put the rind in. But that's okay because it adds extra vitamin C, right? Hold on. So what I've done is I've taken one of these oranges and I've squeezed it. You can see that. And I'm just going to put it in there for flavor. Right? And if I have to, I've turned this off now. Right? If I have to, I'll do another one. Just want to taste it, right? Don't put the rind in. Okay? It overtakes it. But you don't know these things until you try. Right? It could have been some of the pulp too. You know, like on the inside. Sorry. You know how you get these little strings and stuff? But that's okay. So now, I took them out. You can see that. See, I didn't take off any of this. I just cooked it up. For us, it's okay to chew. For Amari, no. Right? But that could be where some of the, I guess you could say, bitterness from the orange came from. Because I didn't take the time to take that off. But that's okay, because you can still mix this with other things, right? So maybe if I would have done this first, before I cooked the oranges, it would be okay. But in this situation, because I cooked them, you know, chances are Amari can actually eat it now. It's you know, he won't choke on it, right? But I'm still going to be taking off some anyway, just to be sure, before I put them in the jar. Right, hold on. Okay, so before I give this to Abel, you can see it fills up half of this jar, okay? And what I've done is I've taken 3 of those large oranges and I've juiced them and I put them in the pot, right? And again, I want to keep the peels for candy orange peel. Hold on. Okay, so I've done what I was going to do with these oranges. Would I do it again? No. I'm not impressed with the oranges in general. They're too starchy in terms of their rinds are thick. Well, not their rinds, but you know what encases the actual orange itself. It had a lot of seeds, but outside of that, that's all that I'm not using. You can see there's a fair amount of seeds in there. Sorry. Okay. And so I would do it again with a different orange with no seeds, like a sweeter mandarin with no seeds, and I would, I'm not sure what I would do. I would probably make the syrup separate. So if I was to blanch or boil the oranges first, I wouldn't use that water, even though that's where all the vitamin C is, right? I would use separate water with sugar just to make a syrup. But that's okay because I'm still using it, because this here, I'm going to freeze them now as is, right? Okay. And then when I'm ready to use them, sorry, wandering eye, when I'm ready to use them, what I would do is I'd unthaw it, and then I would get some pineapple or strawberries or something else and blend it, and then I would blend that separate, and then I would combine the two, more than likely, right? Because even if I was to blend this through a little blending machine, the skin is, some areas are just not good for Amari, right? Because he doesn't, you know, you can't depend on him to chew it properly. So outside of that, it's still salvageable, right? Just versus throwing it out in the compost or nobody eating them. I can still use them at a future date. I can put them into Jell-O or whatever, right? You can put them into a smoothie if you'd want to, right? You could incorporate it into ice cream, like a sherbet or something, if you wanted to, right? This here, now, with the blackberries, it's okay. The thing about these blueberries is I don't know how long my landlady had them for, because they kind of had, you can tell that they've been in the freezer, but I think that's because they were washed first before they were frozen. So I'm going to mention to her, don't wash your blueberries before you freeze them. Or maybe they were just there for a long time. Either or, I put the blackberries in there, right? The blackberries are really, really good. And you've seen how much honey I put in there. Sorry, wandering eye. Which was a fair amount. Now, I don't like honey like in my food per se, right? I prefer just honey with butter and toast. So what I've done is I've taken 2, this is 3 now, of that orange, right? Because that's where all the vitamins are, right? So I've mixed it in there just to water down the honey, right? And then it's tangy, so we'll see. Okay, so I'm changing this up. Put it in this pot. I chucked out the rest of that syrup, I guess you could say. Okay, I got enough of it. Anyway, this is a bag of fruit that I had in my freezer, right? It's peaches with strawberries and blueberries. They're okay. They have a lot of fiber. Blueberries are sweet. I tested these. Crunchy. So anyway, they don't have a lot of flavor, but what it will do, I'm going to cook it now, right? Sorry, I'm not feeling that well, people. I'm going to now cook it down and make it a little thicker, and then I'm going to take a little bullet to it and blend it up, and then I'm going to freeze it, right? And then whether you use that on ice cream, pour it over after it unthaws, depends on how thick I make it. Hold on. Okay, so my head hurts too much. Anyway, I took the juice, 2 eggs, beat it up, put it in there, putting some pepper, you can see that, right? I'm going to throw in maybe about a cup of breadcrumbs, right? Put that in there. I've got 3 cans of tuna. I'm going to put that in there. Maybe a little bit of salt. I'm going to stir it all around. I'm going to put it in 2 separate things here. You can see it's a fair amount because of my son, right? And then I've got mushroom soup with heavy cream mixed in there with just a tad bit of water. And then I'm going to put it in there. Hold on. So, as you can see, plus I put onion and celery in there as well, right? So now I'm going to take this, I'm going to pour it in there and then just kind of move it around and bake it. Hold on. As you can see, nothing fancy. I don't know if I showed you that, but anyway, this is good for pancakes. It could be on anything, really. But you can also just eat it, right? Anyway, I wasn't really that up for it.